going on, everybody? Happy Monday. How you doing? Rochelle, how are you doing?
I don't know. Who knows how I'll be doing when this airs, but right now I'm good.
I hope at this point when we're talking, I still have toilet paper or wipes, moist toilets. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully, if nothing else, this will be a fun little breakaway from the crazy world that we're living in these days. Great episode for you. As always, some great calls, some very vulnerable callers, and I know we learned a lot, and I hope that you will too. Any more updates on your blind date situations, Rochelle?
Oh no, I mean, it's the end of the world. I'm not going to go out on a blind date. Don't want to infect anyone, so I'm quarantined alone.
Okay, well, congrats to all the people in relationships right now, so you can quarantine with at least a lover. And for you single people out there, hey, you have us. So let's just should we get to our callers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Great. Thanks for listening. As always, guys, don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castme.com, cast with a K. And without further ado, question time.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Kelsey.
Hi, Kelsey. How old are you?
Hi, I'm 29.
Great. How can we help you, Kelsey?
Okay, well, I kind of have a long story. So me and my current husband, we have been together since 2013.
Okay.
So we've been together about 7 years. We've been married since 2017. So we've been married for almost 3 years. We have a house together. We have a dog together. We don't have any kids or anything like that. But things were pretty normal at the beginning of our marriage. We got a dog, we have a house. And then after a little while, I actually suffered a miscarriage, and things kind of started going downhill after that.
Okay.
So, after that, I started feeling more disconnected from him. Kind of started realizing we had a lot of differences. He's very religious. He's very Catholic. Not that that's bad, but I didn't grow up that way. He started getting mad about certain things that I enjoy that he doesn't necessarily agree with.
Such as?
Such as smoking weed. He's not a fan of that.
Does he drink alcohol?
He does, and he smokes cigarettes. So figure that out.
Fair enough.
So, and it's one of those things where, I've done it for like 10 years, and he knew that about me, and he's never cared. And then suddenly he just started caring and just got mad every time I did it, was kind of psycho about checking our finances about it, just kind of being really a lot about it.
Like giving you grief about buying marijuana versus just giving you grief about spending money on marijuana.
Yes.
Okay.
And wouldn't hang out with me if he thought I had smoked, just became really controlling about the marijuana.
Sure.
So that was kind of a lot to handle. So what happened next is, just to kind of give you a timeline, this was kind of like last spring and early summer. I started having feelings for a coworker. And
while
this
married.
wasn't while married.
Okay.
So yeah, while married, and the story's going to get worse. So,
Okay.
Yes, while married, I started having feelings for a coworker. And it was nothing, it was just one-sided. It was just me liking him. It wasn't a relationship, anything like that. And he ended up finding out about this via text messages.
Your husband.
My husband, yep. One night I was out at a concert, and I was just with some friends, and he thought that I was acting different. I was acting distant. And the next day he had looked through my phone and found them.
Okay.
So he was not happy, obviously, understandably. So, we talked about that for a while. I wanted, to work on things. He was willing to move past things. I wanted to start going to counseling together. That was not something that he was interested in.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
So I was curious when he caught you basically texting this guy, and you said there wasn't a relationship. And so what did he find? Just like basically text message to this guy, you saying things to this other guy that would be hard for him to read, kind of thing?
Yeah, just kind of like, they weren't like sexual or anything. They were more just like, yeah, like I had feelings for you.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. And trust me, I have a lot of guilt going on.
I mean, I'm just trying to get a clearer picture. So you did admit to this other guy you had feelings. It wasn't like you were just kind of flirting.
Yes. And
you shot your shot. You
kind of,
okay.
Yeah. And I was, it didn't go well. His mom is actually the HR director at my school, so it didn't work out well, as you can imagine that.
Okay.
He told her?
No, but it could have gone that
he
far.
Pointed it out.
Didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of like a little bit of a jab. So,
Ooh.
Yeah. So my husband found that, and then he was upset. So we tried to work on things. He was willing to kind of move past things. This was weeks worth of time where he's upset, and obviously I understand why he's upset. And I just keep reminding him while this stuff is going on that there's a lot of things that he does in our marriage that makes me unhappy. I've found over the years, I've just realized that we have completely different love languages. For example, I really value acts of service, and I really value a partner that helps me out, whether it's making dinner, stuff around the house. And he is more traditional, where when he gets home from work, he expects dinner to be on the table. And it's a lot for him to help me clean up. And we just constantly had arguments about this stuff, to the point where I felt like I was getting just pushed away in our relationship. And not to blame him on that, but there was things that he's done. He has quite a bit of anger. There's a lot of nights that he would yell at me.
Sure. So where are we now?
So that was a long time ago. Since then, over the summer, there was another guy that was talking to me. That was a lot as well. Someone that was just kind of an acquaintance. And he was hitting on me. He was sending me sexual text messages. And again, James found out.
But they were on vacation together. You were on vacation together, right?
This was, yes. We were on vacation together. This was actually another person over the summer. So there's actually 3 different times that.
Okay.
3 different guys.
The other guys have been in my life while I've been married.
Okay. So what is your question?
Sorry, I know it's a lot.
Your husband wants things to work. He wants things to work.
Yeah.
My husband, when I wrote you the email, my husband wanted things to work. We went on vacation together. Probably about 3 weeks ago, we went to Florida. It was kind of like a last minute, let's see if we can make this work. Let's try to reconnect. We drove down there. So he really wanted to make it work. While I was on vacation, I was also talking to this other person.
Okay.
And it's just gotten completely out of control. And I'm at the point where I'm living somewhere different. And
not with your husband?
Right, correct. And at the time, my question was I know this is a lot, and obviously it's not good. I've stepped out of my marriage a few times. That's not me.
Have you physically cheated?
Yes.
Okay. Does he know?
He knows some of it.
Okay. ShipStation, hard to say, super easy to use. Listen, I know we've talked about ShipStation before. I literally would not be able to run my business Natural Habits without it. If you work from home, and you might be working from home more often than usual these days, and you do any type of ShipStation, any type of shipping, I highly recommend ShipStation. They make shipping easier, whether you're shipping FedEx, UPS, USPS. They help you be more efficient, give you a lot of information and metrics and reports on your shipping, help you track your shipments easier, helps with customer service. I can't say...
So you use it with Natural Habits?
Use it with Natural Habits. They have a very user-friendly app. You get notifications on when shipping is going out, when they're being fulfilled, the status of orders.
You never seem stressed about shipping or worried about. It seems very, very easy to use.
It's fantastic. Again, I can't... in a lot of ways, I literally run my entire logistics through ShipStation
that's
of
awesome.
Natural Habits. So it's a big deal. It's been very helpful to us in Natural Habits, and whether you have a small business like Natural Habits, or even just you're doing some on a smaller scale shipping out of your home. Maybe you're making you're knitting quilts and you ship them. ShipStation is very helpful and very easy to use, so can't recommend it enough. Right now, the Viall listeners can try ShipStation for free for 60 days when you use offer code VIALL. There's absolutely no risk. You don't even have to put a credit card down, so truly free. Just visit ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in VIALL. That's ShipStation.com, then enter offer code VIALL. ShipStation.com. Make ship happen. Small steps make big progress, people, or shavings make a pile. Listen, you can't be too informed about healthy eating habits in your diet. And you don't have to, I even hate to use the word diet.
Right.
It's just healthy eating habits. It's doing the little things, to cutting out certain things on a regular basis. You don't have to be drastic all the time. If you just do a little bit and you're mindful and you're eating right, it can go a long way to having healthier lifestyles and much better health. And nowadays we are, do the little things to, again, make sure you're being healthy. And again, there's things we can't do if we can't. Sometimes we can't help getting sick, but if we have, if we are the healthier we are, the better chance we have in reducing how much we are sick or the length of time. So, and our diet plays a big role in that. Very much so. So Noom goes a long way. It's very convenient. You can use it from your phone.
So I use Noom, and my goal was I wanted to just feel more confident. I struggle with that. So then you tell them what your goal is. You download it to your phone, and I talk to someone. They give me articles that are specific to that, and you learn lessons along the way. So it's not just about food. It's a lot about behavior and your cognitive choices.
Yeah, relationships with food.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to change it all in one day. Small steps make big progress. Sign up for your trial today at noom.com/VIALL. What do you have to lose? Visit noom.com/VIALL to start your trial today. That's noom.com/VIALL. So what's your question in terms of what are you trying to figure out?
Am I do I give my marriage one more last fighting chance, or do I check out? Do I move forward and getting a separation? Right now we don't live together. I'm living in a different place for 3 months. We've been sharing the dog back and forth. We're not talking. I haven't seen him in 4 or 5 days. He's gotten very angry, which I understand. I was moving out of my house, and a family member is here, and he went up to them and he literally kicked them out of my house. He's been screaming.
Sure.
So it's just been a very toxic environment that I've been living in. So I'm just trying to figure out, honestly, just how to navigate my life right now. And what I could do with my relationship, and if it's just completely doomed, or if there's anything I could hold on to. And if I don't even know if I want to hold on to anything.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on here as you're pointing out.
So much.
Yeah.
I know.
There's a couple things when you're talking and telling the story that, I think about. Listen, it's what you're going through is hard. Like cheating's not okay. I think that, obviously.
Yeah.
I think when people do cheat, it's very easy for them to justify their actions by saying, well, I'm not happy and I've tried. And those all might be true. And this seems like a very great example that obviously it takes two in relationships, and in a relationship that's this deep and there's a marriage, it seems it's toxic on both sides. You're both being toxic to each other. What you're not doing is you're kind of half-assing it all the way through.
Yeah.
You have to figure out first what you want. Your husband has to figure out what he wants, and then you both have to hold yourself accountable to that. If you're only both willing to meet halfway, it's not going to work, right? If you guys at this moment say, it's as simple as, quite honestly, as messy as it is, it's as simple as sitting down and saying, this is what I've done, this is what you've done. Do we want to fight for this relationship? And if the answer to that is both yes, then the next question is, are we both willing to do whatever it takes to make that work? And then that question, that's the harder question, because right now what you're telling me, the answer to that question is no. Like your husband's not willing to get therapy. Every time that you get frustrated, you're stepping out. You're looking for connections, and you're looking for your love languages to be filled by other people. And I get the human element of it. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship where there was an expectation I had to make them food every day or make them dinner. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship where I felt a lot of hypocrisy about someone had no problem with them drinking and smoking cigarettes, but somehow made you feel judged for spending money on marijuana. Like, we can sit here and debate. Like, they're all outlets. They all have harmful physical effects on us. We can debate what is and what's not. And obviously in some states, marijuana is still not legal, but let's be honest, whatever.
Right.
I would be frustrated with that. But at the same time, that doesn't excuse you from doing what you're doing, right? You either are in the relationship or you're not, right? So now that you're doing these things, you are, he has his frustrations as well, I'm sure, right? Yeah. So you guys just need to decide whether you're willing to do this, right? Saying you want to be in a relationship and saying you want to fight for it, like Rochelle pointing out that he still wants to make it work. Well, does he though? I don't know, because it sounds like the way you're describing it, and I know he's not here to tell his side of the story, that he only wants to maybe make it work on his terms. And no relationship is going to work, especially a marriage, if two people are saying, well, I want it to work, but I want it to work exactly how I want it to work. That's not realistic. That's not a marriage. That's I don't even know what that is, And a lot of people get in those situations, but always one person is miserable. The only marriages that really going to stand the test of time is that it includes things like compromise and communication and sacrifice. And it's funny when you talked about the marijuana thing. I mean, how old's your husband?
He's 2 years older than me, so he's 31.
Yeah, so I remember when I was younger, again, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I'm very anti-cigarette. And my first girlfriend, once in a while when we'd go out and drink and party, she would have a couple cigarettes, as some people do. And I would just throw a fit about it. I don't want to date a smoker. That was true. But at the same time, I just probably made it worse than it needed to be. And I was probably controlling in that moment. Your husband, for whatever reason, has decided to make this a thing. The fact that he was okay with it before and not now, he's probably just a thing he's latching on to. He's probably just picking a fight, to be honest.
I think it's just part of the control too. He wants the control to tell me that I can't do that.
Maybe so, but it sounds like what is pretty clear is if he's not willing to go and get professional help and see a marriage counselor with you, I quite honestly, I don't see how how you guys are going to resolve this. Because if you don't change course drastically, it's just going to be a revolving, like it's just going to be a revolving door, same thing over and over. You'll get along for a moment, take a vacation. Those are all Band-Aids, right? You need to fix the actual problem.
Right. And I should mention over a couple months ago, he actually did attend therapy with me twice. But the reason he went to therapy with me is because I called a lawyer. So after I called a lawyer, he then decided to go to counseling with me. And then all of a sudden, he started going to my church, which I have recently found a new church, and for the past year, he's refused to go. And I told him, if we're going to have children together, like I want my children to be also in this church. And that's something that he did not agree with. And so then all of a sudden, after I called a lawyer to get a separation, he's all of a sudden going to church with me, going to counseling with me, doesn't care at all if I smoke weed, encourages it even. Okay. And it's just like a whole...
But both of you, it sounds like, it's... No, you're doing the same thing, right? Like, like a marriage and having kids isn't both of you or one of you at different moments saying, well, this is what I want. Like what you and your husband are doing is just constantly having these power struggles. At certain moments, you have the power, like you call his bluff, you call the lawyer, and so all of a sudden you have this power. Other moments, he's had the power for whatever reason. And you guys seem to be both willing to use the power that you have in those moments. Like that's not a relationship. That's just like a toxic battle, right? Like, I don't know how you guys figure it out, but like whether, you're going to a Catholic mass or some other type, other church, like there needs to be some compromise, some understanding, not threats, not demands, because like that's not a marriage. And I don't see how that's really going to work out. If he's only going because he saw a lawyer, that's all temporary.
What did your therapist say about your cheating?
That it's not good. And, when I talk to, friends and family about it, they, say, Kelsey, this isn't you. Why are you doing this? I grew up in a family of divorce and my dad cheated on my mom. And that's not something that that really affected my life. And here I'm doing the same thing. And it's just, it's not me. So I'm trying to figure out why is this happening and why am I making these decisions that it's just not me. I'm not the type of person that treats someone like that. So, and like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses.
But as far as your relationship, what I am confident in saying is that you do need to kind of start being more mature and hold yourself more accountable. Like we can figure out all the reasons why you might do something. Maybe your dad did this or your husband does that, but you are an adult and you seem like a smart person who has a good moral compass. And like many of us, we have moments of weakness, but you can stop that. I think you seem like someone who's self-aware. You're calling us, you can control these urges. What you're not doing is what you are doing is you're half-assing both things. Like you either get out of this relationship or make it work. And if you're not happy, then get out, right? And if your husband's not willing to if neither of you are willing to sit down and talk through things and not constantly make idle threats or demands, you need to start compromising and have communication. It seems like that's what you and your husband aren't doing, right? At one point, he's giving you a hard time about the smoking and smoking weed and throwing things in your face. Other times, you're threatening going to a lawyer and saying, I want our kids to go to this church and I don't care what you think and blah, 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 and you need to meet my demands. That's not a marriage, right? No. And then in the moments, when you feel loneliness and sadness and you make some sort of human connection with another guy, you indulge that, which a lot of people do. And you need to stop doing that, right? You're an adult. You can do that. And what you can't do is, pick one. Pick your husband or these other guys. And I get arguments for both, but it sounds like there's a lot of work to be done in your marriage, and it's only going to work if you're both willing to do this. And then not because you're threatening divorce. You have to sit down and say, do you really want this to work? We might be happier without each other in our lives. But if we do, we both want to do this. We both have to compromise our decisions.
So do you think, I just feel like if we do move on and try to be together, I just don't know what everything that's happened, obviously, like, his family knows what's going on, and I've gotten like really awful text messages from them, and
that will be part of the healing process. That may be something you would have to go to counseling for. At the end of the day, is your husband willing to forgive you? The family's tough, sure, but at this point, it's more about that. I mean, it sounds like it might be too messy to survive. I don't know, but I can't tell you what to do. It just seems like you and your husband have a lot of work to do, and you really have to change the dynamic of how you guys communicate. Are you guys? So you went twice, and you're not going anymore?
We went twice. I went to a counselor, and she was also a marriage counselor, so he came with me just to a few of my sessions.
Okay.
And then that's when we went twice, and it was okay. But all he talked about at those sessions was how much he hated marijuana. So it wasn't really productive. I'm not an expert, but therapy might take many sessions, and this might be something he's getting off his chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, right.
I get that why that might be annoying, but I'm just saying, like, he's got to be able to, speak his piece, and then you guys get it all on the table, and then you start working through it. But at the end of the day, if neither of you are wanting to make it work, because I've been to couples therapy, and sometimes you go there and you're both just trying to make your point. You're both trying to get the therapist to agree with you. Right? I'm the right one, right? I'm right. I've been that. I've done that, and
not productive. Yeah.
Not productive. So, you do have to know when to call it quits, maybe, And
I just feel like I might be there already, and I don't know if I want to accept that, or you know what I mean?
I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to decide for yourself.
I know.
What I do think is you need to hold yourself to a higher standard. I think you need to be tougher on yourself, and I think you can do that. I think we're right. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You're trying to be married, but fill your emotional needs, and outside of potentially your husband. You got to stop doing that. And divorce is messy, and it's hard, and it's scary, but like, people do it, and sometimes are better for it. But right now, you guys are both making each other miserable. So either decide to make it work or decide to leave. But stop making threats, and stop trying to like inflict power.
Being mean.
Both of you, and so that's not a marriage. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, best of luck. Keep us posted, and I think you're going to be okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, Kelsey.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Whew, heavy stuff. Yeah. Might be a challenge for him
to come back from that.
But, I just think you get in these situations where, again, like, people just want to be right, and they want to make their point. And
it is interesting that people hold on so long, where everyone else is probably like,
till death do you part.
That's true.
He's a,
Catholic. Yeah.
The Catholic part. I mean, no one wants to get divorced.
Yeah.
That's the idea of marriage, of going through hard times, and not that anyone has the right to be cheated on and told they have to get over it because they got married, but that makes sense. But these are two people who are like wanting to stay married because they got married, but not willing to do their part to make that marriage work.
Yeah.
And you got to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Embark. Fascinating, fun. Learn about your furry friends. Your dog DNA test kits. If you have a furry friend, if you have a dog, the better information you have about them, the more you can do to make sure that they're healthy as well. If you've rescued a dog, there's probably not a lot of information you have out there about them. What a great way to do that. Learn how old they are. You don't have to start guessing what breed they are. You can find out exactly what they are, whether they're a purebred, if they're a mixed, the health implications that go along with that. Great conversation starter on a date. People always have fun learning about their dogs and talking about their dogs. Our producer Dustin did it with his his furry friend and found out that he was pretty old. And,
Bubby.
And also 100%
Beagle. Yeah. He didn't know that. And he keeps getting updates every day about new relatives.
Yeah. So find out who your dog's relatives are. Always great to do that.
So what's cool is competitors of Embark can get down to only 12% of a breed mix detection, and Embark is accurate down to 5%. So if you're going to go with dog DNA test, you definitely want to use Embark.
It's a huge difference, 12 and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, Embark has exclusive offers you can't get anywhere else. Go to embarkvet.com now and use promo code VIALL to save 15% off your dog DNA test kit. Visit embarkvet.com and use promo code VIALL to save. American Home Shield. I'll tell you what, great to own a home. I'm looking to buy a home right now. I have a lot of friends who are homeowners. But when you have a home, it can get very expensive, especially when major appliances break down.
I mean, how can people deal with it on
furnace,
their budget?
Your air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, and they're unexpected costs that when they do break down, they can get pretty pricey.
Yes.
And we have often insurance, a homeowner's insurance, but sometimes that insurance doesn't cover all those things.
Yep.
Sometimes it's always surprising when we learn what insurance doesn't cover.
It's always when you,
like,
it's always not the thing you want.
Covered, and you're just like, nope, that's not covered.
Yeah.
Well, American Home Shield is there for just that. They insure those things that sometimes aren't insured under your typical insurance that you have.
Yeah, and it's America's most preferred home warranty, more than 1.8 million customers. So you can feel really good going with them.
My buddy and his wife, they just built a house in Wisconsin, and I don't remember what the what it was, but something broke down not too long after. And again, there's so many expenses that go into a home.
Yeah.
You think nothing's going to break down, and bang, it does. And I know that was an unexpected cost that they had to deal with, and it was a bummer. So to get American Home Shield, go to ahs.com/VIAL today to save $50 and start protecting your home and budget from inevitable breakdowns. ahs.com/VIAL. That's ahs.com/VIAL for $50 off any plan. American Home Shield. Be sure with the Shield. Limitations and exclusions apply. See blend for details. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Courtney. I'm 29 from Toronto.
Hi, Courtney, 29 from Toronto. How can we help?
So I have a couple of things I want to ask. So one of them is that whenever I go on dates, I always find the second or third date I have certain expectations. So they're sort of always in the back of my mind. And one of the episodes that really resonated with me was the episode with Nate.
Yeah.
Where he has sort of a similar situation where he has expectations. And so then I thought about myself and my own situation, and I sort of have the same sort of thing as well. And so I want to be able to go into a date and not have a free mind and not have any of those standards, that I'm projecting, I guess.
Why don't we talk about your second question too?
Yeah, what's your second question?
Okay, sure. So I also have a really rare neurological disorder. So it's called autosomal recessive cerebellar ataxia type 1.
That's a mouthful.
It's super rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super rare, and it's also progressive. So the way I look now is not going to be the way I look in, 5-10 years down the line. So I've had romantic relationships in the past, and I've disclosed to them, but it's always going to be a situation where I'll say it's going to get worse, and they'll say, yeah, sure. But they don't really understand the gravity of what that means. So, some people might end up having to use mobility aids, or they're confined to a wheelchair. For me, it already affects my speech. So, it's sort of hard navigating the dating world. I mean, for anyone who's able-bodied and doesn't have anything, it's hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like I'm looking for, much more stable long-term qualities, like someone who's compassionate, understanding, and patient. And
sure.
and those things. And it's like I'm trying not to put that expectation through. But I'm just trying to figure out the best way to sort of navigate the space.
So when you are dating these men, you say expectations, and they seem empathetic and understanding to your, the situation that you have. Do you find out that they don't mean what they say, or you don't believe what they're saying?
I don't believe what they're saying.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a situation. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, buddy. Like I hear you, but
yeah. Well, listen, I can't obviously relate to what you might be going through or what this this situation could do to your mental health and things like that. Obviously, I've gotten to learn a little bit through Rochelle about the cystic fibrosis community. And so not only is that a debilitating disease that affects your life, but a lot of people who have it have a lot of anxiety and trouble with depression and fear about the future and things like that, right? So I can only try to understand. But I think at some point, you're going to have to choose to trust. You're going to have to open yourself up. I get why you might want to protect yourself for fear that you're going to get emotionally attached to someone, and then they're really going to do the research and really kind of find out, and then leave.
Yeah, she said has a fear of rejection.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right? Like that totally makes sense, but you just got to have to decide whether do you want to. You deserve to have emotional connections, and even people who aren't in your situation deal with heartbreak and deal with loss. And so you're choosing not even to try out of fear, which I totally understand, but you never know, right? And you got I think you deserve to give these people a chance to get to know you, because there are people out there who might be able to deal with it, but give them a shot, right? And it doesn't mean you have to fall in love with them immediately. It doesn't mean you have to open up your heart, but you take it slow, but let them get to know you and give it a shot. Don't immediately push them away because you're afraid of what they might find out.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like I self-sabotage a lot of times. It's like I run away, and I'd rather protect myself and not have someone say they don't, they can't accept that, or, that they want to get to know me more. And I think the problem with me is that I feel like I've gone on so many dates that I want to figure out within, I don't want to waste time. And I know, but not in the way of there's a clock ticking, but more like I sort of want to know what you're here for. Yeah,
but regardless of your the mental challenges that you have, that everyone deals with that. You don't know. Dating is confusing and hard, and you can't guess everyone's intentions. And again, even people who don't have this health concern or deal that the situation that you're dealing with, they have the same fears. You are putting extra pressure on yourself because you have this timetable, this ticking clock, so to speak, right? And so it's because you don't want to waste time, you feel like your time to find a partner is limited. You're ending up kind of being counterproductive by pushing everyone away. I mean, the question is what could someone possibly do to make you believe them that they, you know what I'm saying? You're just going to have to trust someone. But I think you're telling yourself, no one's going to understand this. I mean, and much differently, we all have our insecurities about ourselves, and we're all our own toughest critics about why people might judge us for things. Some people, a lot of single moms feel insecure about having children. People who are even divorced will feel judged about that. People who get older will feel judged about their age. Certainly this is more extreme, but similar things. At some point, you just have to go out there and do it. And there's no guarantees. Again, you might get your heart broken, but least you're feeling something, you know. Heartbreak is a shitty thing, but it's a great life experience. You know, I truly believe that. I look back on some of my biggest heartbreaks, and I'm thankful I've had them. I felt a lot, you know, and those were great moments. Hindsight being 2020, but I think you just got to try. You know, let a guy prove you wrong. You know, at this point, at the risk of maybe being sad about a guy you started to really like, but there are people out there willing to do that. Just out of curiosity, in terms of like, are there ways for you to? I'm sure you've done it to try to prolong the progress of this disease or is it just kind of inevitable, or you know what's going on with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, there's really no cure. So personally, I've seen like a natural practitioner, because I have to look at alternative methods. They're, to maybe prolong the progression. But it's going to happen whether or not I like it or not. It's there, and it's genetic for me. So I've had it my whole life.
Sure.
But I started getting symptoms when I was about 19, and I got diagnosed at 25.
Okay. And then, just, what does that look like? Well, you might be in a wheelchair. It'll affect your speech. Does it ever stop getting worse? Like, people who have this disease, what does life look like for you in 20 years?
So it's hard to say because it's so rare. There's not many people with my exact diagnosis around the world. I do think that I have the least aggressive type of ataxia.
Okay.
So I do think that I'll still be able to walk in 20 years. But there are more aggressive forms of it where people are, confined to a wheelchair and it deteriorates. So, their muscles atrophy some more. My speech is probably going to be more noticeable in terms of my slurring, in the next 5 years or so.
I mean, I slur, I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't beat yourself up. Like, stop thinking of all the reasons why someone might not want to deal with your condition. And I'm certain you do that. We all do it, and we don't even have what you're dealing with, right? So I can only guess how hard it might be to do. But I think if you are willing to give a guy a shot, you might be surprised. Someone who does fall in love with you for who you are. People who are hearing impaired and deaf, different, but just because you might lose your ability to speak, there's people love other people for all different sorts of reasons, right? So just stop pushing them away. Like, there's just no point in telling someone how they're going to be. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to them. Like, how do you know? You just never know.
Right.
And don't be afraid to get your heart broken. And that might happen. I'm not promising that it won't, because the truth is, for a lot of the reasons you are insecure, you're probably you're justified. You're not crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like there's reasons I know I get insecure about why someone might not date me. And sometimes I know I'm proven right, and that's like, that sucks to know, but that doesn't, there's a lot of other people out there too, one or two people who justify your insecurities is not everybody,
Right.
So just try to be a little easier on yourself.
Do you have anyone, like a support system of other people who are going through the same thing?
So I actually created a foundation with my friend.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
And it's really a coincidence. I think of it as a silver lining. I have a 1 in billion chance of getting this genetic condition.
Yeah.
And the one person that also has it lives half an hour from me.
No way.
Yeah, so we're creating a nonprofit.
Good for
we
you.
have a Facebook group, and we're fundraising. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. That's awesome to do that. You might meet someone in that community. Someone who either maybe not has it because it's so rare, but someone who, you never know. Again, Rochelle's sister has cystic fibrosis, and like people involved in that community become more aware of what people's lives are like. And so, you might find someone who isn't afraid of something like this, right? Who doesn't back away because maybe they've been touched by a family member or friend who had to deal with this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you just never know, but keep putting yourself out there, be involved. And just when you like someone and they express to you an understanding and a willingness to get to know you, don't tell them that what they're, how they're feeling. Stop telling people they won't understand. You don't know that. Stop. You have to. That's not fair to them. You can't read their mind. You don't know their past or their history. You can't predict the future. And there are no guarantees, but you got to stop doing that. The best you can.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling. It was our pleasure. It was nice to get to know you, and best of luck with everything. And good luck with your foundation.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Take
Nice
care.
to meet you.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, sweet lady.
So sweet.
Yeah, it's tough with these things that it's just like you feel lucky to not have to.
But love love is not logical. Like, people don't factor that stuff in a lot of times. So many people I know with CF are married and they have families, and
it's funny because again, we all do what she's doing unjustifiably.
Yes, I think that's really smart of you to say.
And even for me, I'm a kind of a negative Nancy, and so I like to think of the negatives sometimes, and I know you can relate sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, there are probably people who judge me, who might not like certain things about me.
Right.
And I'll spend more time focusing on that.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, there's plenty of women who've wanted to date me. I just didn't want to do.
Totally.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not about me being unlovable or that no one will understand.
Yes.
And again, this is a far more extreme situation, but like, to your point, like, there's plenty of people out there who might feel connected to her.
Oh, yeah.
And love her.
Yeah.
And
are you kidding? Of course.
I'd rather have a girlfriend who slurs because of her medical condition than who's someone who's like drinking all the time and I can't control. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, it's tough. But I get why. I mean,
protecting yourself.
I get that. I mean, I can't possibly begin to understand, but I get it knowing that I do it, and I don't have to deal with something this drastic. All right, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Katie.
Hi, Katie. How old are you?
I'm 22.
How can we help you, Katie? 22.
So as everyone's done, kind of summarized this in my email, but just short little background info. So my boyfriend's 24. He's in the Army.
Okay.
And he's currently deployed right now in Afghanistan. So it's his first deployment. We're kind of like figuring things out as we go. And so it's been going smoother than I thought it was going to, because the distance is obviously so much. The time difference is like 8.5 hours. So we're able to FaceTime like at night and in the morning. And then, we just have like the rest of the day to ourselves completely. So we've just been like trying to stay as busy as possible, just to make the time go by faster. But obviously in a situation like this, like, you need to have super forward thinking, just like we talk about every day, what it's going to be like when he gets home. So I guess my question is more not like about the distance, but just more on the flip side of things. We've gotten so used to our routine already of just like doing our individual day-to-day things, like investing in our own passions, just trying to like maximize on this whole experience. So I'm sure there are like a lot of long distance couples on the other side of things that kind of struggle once they are back together, like readjusting to that routine, even though like right now it seems so exciting. It is going to be a big adjustment. So my question is just like, if you have any advice on kind of how to balance that.
So just to be clear, you seem like things are fine now. It's not like you're calling and saying, I'm in a long distance relationship and it's hard and we're struggling. You're more thinking about the future when he's back?
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. How long have you guys been together?
We've been together for about 4 months,
Okay.
so not too long.
How long?
And we're not very.
How long were you dating before you left?
2 months.
Okay.
And he's
But
gonna be there for.
we knew each other. We knew each other beforehand, so it wasn't. I didn't feel like we were like completely starting from scratch.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you said in your email, it seems exciting. It seems like the most exciting thing. Is that, you mean when he comes back seems like it'll be exciting?
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's a very
So
self-aware thing for you to think about right now.
Yeah.
At 22, that's a pretty mature question to have, to even admit to yourself that this kind of thing you're doing with your boyfriend is almost exciting. In this kind of storybook, he's off serving our country, and we talk every day, and you have the benefit of missing him, as it sounds like you kind of are aware of this excitement of longing for each other. And there's definitely, you're going about your lives and dealing with the bullshit of life. And what you guys seem to be with each other, which is great in a relationship, is to be able to be that one kind of calming presence you guys have, where you download each other and in terms of your day, and if something's going on with him, and it seems like right now you haven't had to worry about any stresses that come with a long distance relationship. You've kind of really accepted the reality of your current situation.
Right.
My advice to you would be is maybe not try to talk so much about the future.
Yep. Okay.
Because you don't know the future, and you run the risk of just kind of living in a little bit of a fantasy world. And at the same time, creating a lot of expectation for the future of a relationship. I mean, the truth is, you guys don't know a ton about each other. You have this unique relationship, but because you can't hang out physically and you don't have the ability to be with each other and not talk and go to movies and just have sex, and sometimes you don't get to know each other, someone that way. And in some aspects, you're really getting to know each other because you're forced to communicate, and that is nice. But there is something to be said about being around someone, getting to know their habits and their bad habits and their kind of the things that annoy you about them. So the reality is if you guys stay together while he's gone, and you are together, because you don't know that either, right? You don't know.
Right, yeah.
I'm not saying you should be doomsday and plan on making it work, but just not to be cliche, take one day at a time. You don't know what's going to happen in 10 minutes. Once you get there, yes, it is. Is it smart to realize that there's going to be an adjustment? Is it smart to not assume that everything is going to be magical just because now he's there? There will be a natural adjustment. Certainly, I don't know what it's like for someone to go and be deployed, and who knows what experience he's going to have there. That might be another thing you have to deal with. So enjoy the moment, try to just be happy with what you have. This guy that you are connecting with and you enjoy talking to him, and he's someone that you lean on when you're struggling about your day-to-day, and I'm assuming same for him.
Yeah.
And let the future happen when the future happens. But
you're
spending a lot of time worrying and stressing, and even the good and the bad, right? I don't think it does much good to fantasize in a positive way about the future. It's something we do when we're younger. Oh, well, we should get married. How many kids do you want? And that's fun. I'm not saying never talk about it, but when you are talking, it would be a red flag to me if a lot of your conversations are about fantasizing about the future.
Right. Okay.
I get it to a certain extent, but that all that really is like I said, fantasizing. That's not real. It's
right. Exactly. Yeah, I had a lot of friends even in college who I feel like were together beforehand, either met in high school or just prior, and then did long distance for college, and then had a tougher time afterward once they were back in the same area, which you would think that it wouldn't really be like that just because they are back together. But yes
and no. I mean, you guys have a unique relationship, and that relationship has a lot of advantages, especially if you're comfortable. It's interesting, the fact that you guys aren't experiencing some of the typical struggles that come with long distance relationships.
Right. He's not going to be with anyone else.
Is a
Right.
It's like, it's nice, but like that is unique, right? That means that like it means that you guys are feeling this void, or not even a void, but that would be kind of in a weird way a red flag, because you're gonna, you're not desiring this, and so the physical touch or the ability to have someone, you're getting that with someone else, right? He's got his buddies and his that he's off to. You got your friends in your lives, and you're gonna be combining two different lives. You're not. It's not as if he's gonna be, assuming he's like living in the same town, that you're going to FaceTime and talk on the phone. You're like, well, we should hang out, I guess.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? That means that you're going to see the people, the friends and the people you're interacting on a day-to-day basis now, you're going to not be hanging out with them.
Right.
And that's change, and change is tough. So I don't know the future, but so I think you should stop. I think you should stop guessing with him about it all the time. You're just going to have to be aware of it. And the fact that you are aware that it will be an adjustment, I think, is half the battle. I think a lot of people will, it might be great. Don't stress out something that might not be great. Just because your friends had a different experience doesn't mean you will. It's good to just be mindful that there will be adjustment, and that's all you can do is be aware of it. So that way, if he does come back and it doesn't feel as blissful as you hoped it would be, then you don't freak out. You guys just both say, hey, listen, we kind of expected this. Let's see if we can get through it. Or maybe we realize we're not compatible that way.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah. So I guess like my last question would just be then, like, leading up to that, so we still have kind of a ways to go through the deployment. And like you were saying, like, you don't really know the future, just kind of taking things day by day. Have you seen with like other long distance, or have like any advice right before he comes home? Like, obviously, like you said, being mindful is like half the battle, and you're just going to have to like see how things go.
I don't think there's some magic thing too. I mean, hopefully he's safe, and hopefully he doesn't have to witness or participate in anything traumatic, but war is war, and you never know. That will be something you'll want to be mindful of, and making sure he's getting the proper, mental health help that he needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, just see how see what happens. Like it's a relationship.
Did you, when he left, like, were you like, darn it, this is the worst timing, I can't believe we found each other now? Or do you think it had something to do with you guys getting together, him about to leave?
Yeah, so when we did get together, I knew right from the beginning that he was going to leave. He was super upfront about it and was like, look, I just want to give you an out right from the beginning. And in my mind, like, we clicked so well from the beginning that I was like, let me just see where it goes. And if we're there when he leaves, we're there. And if we're not, we're not. Just like see what happens.
Yeah.
And we were there. And like, so far through the whole thing, obviously it has been really hard, like, not having him here. But at the same time, like, this podcast has actually been like so helpful, because I'll call him every week and like talk to him about random stuff that I've heard on it.
Aww.
So I think we just kind of realized that like the distance is like, we're not changing it. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been dealing with it pretty well. So yeah.
You're either compatible or you're not, and you're only gonna and half of your compatibility you're able to kind of figure out now, your ability to talk, but the other kind of part of that being in the hanging out actually is something you guys are just as simply gonna have to wait to find out.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
People date for 3 or 4 years and break up. People get married for 20 years and get divorced. So like things can change. So you're trying to. You strike me as someone who maybe like you're a planner. You like to get ahead of it. These are all great things, but there's only so much you can do in a relationship, So
absolutely.
Take and enjoy the stuff you like about this situation and the fact that you have this support system. Try to get through the things that you don't like, and then when things change, just be aware that things are going to change, and change is sometimes hard.
Yeah.
He's lucky to have you, though, don't you think, to help him get through
it? Probably lucky to have each other. That's a relationship. The idea of a relationship is you guys feel like when you do talk, there's just kind of like, you know what? Oh, good. I'm glad
Yeah.
Thanks. You're
No, it is, for sure.
the calming presence in my day.
It is such a unique experience. Yeah. It's I feel like it's challenged us, and like even with the distance, it's helped us grow. So
just don't
at the end of the day, like you said, we're just gonna have to see.
Just don't get sucked into the kind of story and the romance of it all. It sounds like you're a pretty objective person, and I think
definitely.
you take it one day at a time, and I guess you'll see how it goes. But there's no magic pill. I don't think there's no magic playbook.
Right.
Just keep communicating, and I think you'll put yourself in the best position to succeed.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
That was super helpful. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, of course.
All right, thank you. Well, level-headed long-distance relationship.
A level-headed young person too.
Yeah, young love too. What are you gonna do? The one thing I didn't get to ask her, it seemed like she's had other friends have had this happen. Like, there might be this kind of community where they're kind of used to like.
Well, she said they went away for college.
Okay,
but they
college.
Stayed together. Yeah.
So it wasn't like
it was different.
Sometimes people are from like army towns, and it's like a thing.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna? It's tough. It could work out. It might not. Yeah. Just like any other relationship that's only 4 months old.
Usually, you wouldn't suggest someone who's only been dating that long to do a long distance, right?
No, but like whatever. I guess like I said to her, it's just like it's only been 4 months. Who knows?
Yeah.
Things could drastically change by month 5.
Yeah.
So there's no point in planning for month 12 right now.
That's so true. Yeah.
How's it going?
Good.
What's your name?
I'm Kelsey. I'm 28.
Hi, Kelsey, 28. Love the hair.
Hi.
Purple.
Good.
How can we help?
Well, I emailed in to kind of talk about, I don't know, I kind of need like a guy's perspective. Maybe if you could bring yourself back a few years. I've been with my husband for 5 years. We had a courthouse marriage in September, and then we have a big wedding next month. And the topic of kids has been really kind of touchy recently, where like I feel like it's kind of like a button I can't touch with him. When we first got together, we knew that we wanted a kid or two in the future. And now 5 years later, I'm getting a little more ready for it than he is. And so I just don't know like how much I should be pushing the subject or really just, or not. Like, I don't want to cause fights.
Yeah. How old are you again? 28?
I'm 28.
How old is he?
30.
Okay. Is he, like, how adamant is he about this?
So, like, the last year or so, I've, like, brought it up more. I've tried to, like, preach the subject. I get, like, my feelings hurt a lot because he'll kind of just, like, joke it off when I try and talk about it. And, like, when every once in a while I'll get so upset, like, he'll, like, calm down and, like, have a talk with me about it. But it's like I have to really push to get those conversations.
And what is he, when he calms you down, what is he saying? Do you feel like he's actually listening to you, or do you think he's just trying to calm you down?
I think a little of both. I think he's good at like calming me down and saying like, you know, yes, like I want a child, but he's so like analytical, you know, and he wants to plan everything out and, you know, not at this time, like our lives aren't there. And like, I get it. We moved further away from his family.
Okay. Well, yeah. So that's
stable.
Moving further away from his family is one reason why he's not ready. What's another reason?
I think his job's like a little up in the air. We moved to Colorado to do like a startup company. And so right now we're in like the first year of that. So I think he's worried like if this doesn't work out, then we have a kid and then we're moving.
Yeah.
But like to me, that doesn't matter.
You said in your email that you also you felt that you were pushy about your engagement as well.
I was very, very pushy. I feel like if it was up to him, like we probably wouldn't have gotten engaged or married. And like after the fact, like he's been perfect. Like it's been the happiest planning. Like he's so good about it, but like it takes like a push off a cliff to do things.
Yeah. I mean, some guys are Sometimes we do that.
I know.
So yeah, I mean, if you're happy with everything else, I guess you have the right to. Kids are a big deal, right?
They are.
We've gotten soft, I think, as a society. The younger generations, you always hear how our parents just got married and just had kids because it's what you did. And I know my parents certainly had you didn't. We have this thing where we have to plan everything now. We have to have a certain income and we have to have certain security. And I get it. It all makes sense. And I'm like that too. But sometimes we just figure it out, if you have a kid, you become that much more motivated to make sure you make things work, and at the risk of sometimes your own happiness, kids are a big sacrifice to your free time. And that all makes sense. So it just he has to decide is that what he really wants? I think it sounds like you've made it clear that kids are important to you. And you're still young, but it's, my guess is you probably want to have it sooner than later as you approach 30.
Yeah. And so I always envisioned, like I hear a lot on your show, I always envisioned myself like married at 22,
sure.
With the kids. And so the older I get, the more, I look at it realistically. He jokes about, like sex life going down after a kid or, just him not having that freedom. He's a lot more outgoing than I am.
Sure.
I would rather like stay in and like, I'll chill with the baby. You go out with the friends. Like,
well, he needs to be a father too. I get what you're saying. I think what you need to make clear to him is like, listen, it's never going to be a convenient time to have a kid. As a 30-year-old guy, nothing's going to change for him at 32. It's not like at 32 he's going to be like, now I'm willing to make these sacrifices. Like no one ever feels that. You just have the kid and then you deal with it. He needs to be honest with you about him wanting to have a child, something you need to figure out. And he probably does. Like if this is a guy who just kind of who drags his feet on big commitments. But I think you have the right to, say that you really want this. I mean,
like how much should I push? Like, or how much like is bringing up the conversation too much?
It's
like
not so much about pushing. I think you just need to get a better understanding where he's at. And I think you both need to feel like you're being really honest with each other. I think it's a fair thing to say to him. It's like, it's never going to be convenient. Like, what's going to be the difference between now and 2 years? And he might say, well, maybe, like the things of the company might be better, et cetera, et cetera. We might be moving back home, but you might not be, you know what I'm saying? And like, and in 2 years, there'll be something else that it's so easy. If you're looking for a perfect scenario to bring life into this world, it's always really easy to point out why it might be a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like the corona stuff that we've been dealing with, there's always bullshit in the world, right? So like, he's gonna, in 2 years or a year or in 3 years, there's going to be reasons that he can make an argument of why this might not be the best time. And so it comes down to, is he willing to have a family and a child with you? And that's something that's fair for you to bring up. And because like having the discussion and then like each time making up like excuses in the moment or reasons why, like, I think you should like hold his feet to the fire and saying, there's never going to be a super easy time. There's no guarantees things are going to change, but what is going to be constant is my desire to be a mother and my hope that you want to be a father.
No, that's really good advice. I'm at this point where we have gotten to a point where the communication about it is a lot better. Like my family's a lot more close knit than his is. So I think like, I know how special it can be. And just like, I don't know, I don't want him to resent me for having kids too early. And I don't want to resent him in any way for like waiting.
And you're not even married yet. They're not married.
Wait, you're not married yet?
Well, we're married. We did get married
at
courthouse.
Right.
Yeah, that's married.
But they're planning their wedding.
Our big wedding.
Yeah.
Well, you're married.
Like, our families know we're married.
I get that you haven't had a celebration, but you're married. You've
right? That's what I say.
I don't. Otherwise, what was the point of getting married?
Why did you do a courthouse marriage?
We were moving, and so like he needed health insurance, and logistically, like it was, he was going through stuff with dental stuff too, and so like having insurance was just like a big thing, and it was like a special day to us. My parents came, his didn't. Yeah. They didn't really want to, but
what do you mean his parents didn't want to?
Well, his dad's a pastor, and so they weren't really cool with us doing
so
it.
as far as your father-in-law goes, you're not married because you're not married in the eyes of God. I've heard that argument before. And you know what? Fair to him. I grew up.
Exactly. So
I get that. It doesn't change anything. You are legally married as far as the law goes, and if you guys broke up, you'd have to get divorced. Right. So that's just, God aside, that's just the reality of it. But yeah, I think, that being said, the fact that, there's this ceremony that hasn't happened yet, I think it's an important time to have a really good understanding of this. And just be honest with them. I don't want to nag you, but this is not going to change. I want a child, and I don't want to wait forever. And I do know that there will be something in 6 months, in 12 months, in 2 years. There'll be reasons why it won't be convenient.
Yeah, I think those are all things I've kind of been thinking, but haven't really put all together. It's different when like you're in the situation. It's hard to see things.
No, I get it, but you can't, like, especially being in a marriage, you're married, so you stop being afraid to say what you feel for fear that, he'll resent you or whatever. If he is, that's a good time to find out now,
Yeah, that's very true.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a mom, and you have the right to fill that need, and he needs to be honest with you about how willing he is to be a part of that. And marriage is about sacrifice, and having a family is, and if he,
it's a big step.
I mean, if he doesn't want to, if he wants to be selfish and lead an independent life, he should not be married, and certainly to someone who wants to have kids.
Right. Thank you.
So, yeah, better to find that out now. So.
I know. So we're 36 days away from the big wedding, so now would be the time.
Yeah, it's not about nagging. It's just about like, I want to know. I've deserved to know, and I want to know, and I want kids sooner than later. And we've been together a long time. We've had our fun, and
I think that's what I've been struggling with. Just like, is it the nag between being nagging and just wanting to have those conversations? Because I feel like there's that fine line.
Well, what happens when you, like, with the nagging, nagging usually comes sometimes, not always. Sometimes people are just fucking nags. But with you, it's a little different. Like, what happens sometimes with nagging is when we don't really say what we want. We don't make it clear. We're passive aggressive. We want the other person to just figure it out on their own. And when they don't, we kind of passive aggressively say things, and we nag, and we kind of say things, and then we get annoying, right? Just make it very clear what you want, and try, and expect a very honest answer. And if he's like, well, not now, like, I don't think you just drop it. What does that mean? Not now. What's going to change in 6 months? What's going to 12? What if that changes? What guarantee? I don't. You tell him. Be honest with him. I'm nervous that you'll never want to.
Right. Like, the longer we push it out, the more things come up that could be the excuses not to.
It sounds like you're nervous about him ever really wanting to.
A little piece of me, maybe, yeah.
Probably more than a little.
Yeah. I mean, because like when we first got together, we were both kind of like anti-kids, like young, fun. And I would say like 4 years he was kind of like that, and this last year has like really been him kind of coming around to the idea and like having these conversations.
Well, it's good that he's having it, you know. Yeah. Yeah, everything's probably fine. Just sometimes this kid probably needs a push now and then, but I don't think you should be worried about nagging. I do think you should be direct.
Okay.
You know, don't be passive aggressive, and have this be something that you kind of like passive aggressively throw in his face from time to time. Sit down, have a conversation, get on the same page. Understand his fears and reservations, be able to express yours, and as a couple who's already married, figure it out. But don't let him make excuses that he could use in 6 months.
Yeah, but do you think it's not that I'm very pro therapy and like going to therapy for, preventative rather than fixing things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it stupid to like ask if like a mediator in the situation or someone to help us through those conversations, or is it too early for that?
I don't think it's ever too early to see a therapist if you want to. I mean, going to talk to a therapist doesn't mean anything. I think we still deal with it, but like a lot of times before, people would say, "Oh, I only go if I have a problem," and if we're going, that means there's something wrong. If you feel like you're not on the same page, then go. But before that, I think find out, just have a conversation with him. A therapist isn't going to be able to convince him to have a kid.
Correct.
Yeah. Nor should you want that. You definitely want him to be ready to be a father. And so you need to find out whether he really has the desire to, because do you really want to have a kid with him and have him be this kind of absent father? I don't think you want that.
No, and I don't see him being that way at all. And maybe the therapy is more like just for myself and being able to like have these conversations and like be strong through them. Like that's always been kind of
I think
a thing.
I think it would be helpful to do. And then maybe your therapist can suggest when it would be an appropriate time to include him.
Yeah,
but
that's a good idea.
But it's also a good opportunity to find out just how open he is to working on things with you. Does he support you going to therapy? Is he resistant to ever coming? These would be potential red flags.
No, definitely supportive. Like I've been definitely open with that. And so like I am on anti-anxiety medication, which, brings into, if you can be on it when you're pregnant and being on those things after a child. And so he really does like worry about me with like postpartum and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, having a kid is very challenging. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a lot of things to worry about, but everyone deals with that. And just be smart, be proactive, ask the right questions, rely on the experts, the doctors, and that's all you can hope for. But yeah. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, best of luck.
I saw you were kind of cuddled up with Kelly from Chris Harrison last night via comments.
Fun little internet stuff.
All right. Well,
all right.
Dan Kelly.
All right.
Have a good day.
You have a good day.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Kids.
Yeah.
I think, classic case of just kind of being afraid to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Never a good time, never convenient to have kids.
Right.
Even if you really want kids, and
it's never going to be perfect.
It's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, fun episode, Rochelle.
Yeah. Hope you guys are surviving out there.
Hope you're surviving. Be smart. Wash your hands. Rely on the experts. Do things to help boost your immune system. That won't prevent you from contracting any virus, but hopefully it will help you fight it off if you do things to have a healthy immune system. Drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
Vitamin C is good.
And then
Essential
Wednesday
oils
we
can
have
help.
Penn Jillette, so be sure to tune in. I'm sure you have a lot of time on your hands. So
yeah, listen to us. Will that be that Wednesday then?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure. I know we said Penn was going to be here last week, but we had to have Barb. And we wanted to get Barb, but I really enjoyed my discussion with Penn. A fascinating guy, very interesting so much knowledge, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So until next time, don't forget to send your questions at asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K. Always appreciate your reviews, certainly if they're 5 stars. And we will see you on Wednesday.